Hi, I'm Sam, and welcome to, as you can see behind me, RPM Technic, Porsche Specialist. And we've got, right over here, a pretty special, pretty cool build that they've put together for a friend of mine. And we're going to have a little, I'm going to show you the car, we'll have a little look around. We also have over here Mr. Ollie Preston. Hello.
Hi Sam, how you doing?
Very good, very good. Ollie and I did a podcast, chat about your background and RPM and all that. You are the founder and technical director of RPM, so I'll put a link up there to our podcast. But this car, what have we got? We've got a 991.2 GT3, but it's a bit different. It's had a bit of work.
It's a bit different, yeah. So the car originally came to us, it was a club sport, cage, harnesses, and
a cage? Oh, full shebang.
Yeah. So I was a client and a good friend as well, known him for a long time now. And he wanted to make it his sort of, lives in London, so he wanted it a bit more under the radar than having a big spoiler on the back. He's got 2 young kids, so I wanted to be able to take them in it. He's got other cars as well, but this is like his daily.
Yeah.
So he wanted PDK for sitting in London traffic, rear seats. He wanted a GT3. It's like, hang on, they don't make this.
Yeah. And that sounds like a sort of simple, okay, 911s can have rear seats in, GT3s
don't.
And is it so?
So he found.
I mean, they look like they've just been there all the time. So what's the sort of process?
So came to us first of all. We did the rear seat conversion first, which was the kit we fit. We've done a few of these now, so it's a bit more involved on a club sport car because you've got the rear panels are trimmed a bit different, so you need to retrim those to fit them. But yeah, it's all TUV approved. The only bit you don't have is the Isofix
Right.
kit
Okay.
seats. So as long as you're not putting little seats in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 3-point belts are all in. They all mount to the factory hardware, or anything we have to put in it's all fully reversible. As I say, TUV approved.
And I remember one of the sort of rumours in forums, people have talked about the concept of doing this for a long time on various 911s, and I think it was after 997. I feel like the stuff is still there underneath, or maybe 996. But 991 things have sort of been removed.
Yeah, it's a whole different panel.
Right.
Yeah, so you cross-reference the parts list and it's a completely different rear panel. So you do have to put stuff in. And
yeah, that was a bit of a process. And seats, if someone comes to you now and says, I want it, you just sort out the whole thing?
Yeah, we do the whole thing. So the last one we did, we bought everything brand new from Porsche, seat-wise, and then just had it retrimmed to match, because obviously it's all the little things. GT3s are ever so slightly different, so a lot of the trims they offer you can't have on standard 911s. So, we get the least expensive trim, the very basic ones, and then we retrim them to match the car. So the last one had yellow stitching, for example. But we buy brand new seat belts, all the hardware and everything that we fit in is all genuine.
Yeah,
so
did this have the folding seats?
Yeah, so that is the one thing you do need to. Well, you can still buy the folding buckets from Porsche, but obviously they're quite rare to find in a GT3.
Because these have they had the interior, this bit swapped out?
Yes, yeah, they've had the inserts done. So he did that first, the inserts done, and then we did the rear seats.
And what's the cost? What's the rear seat conversion if someone came?
It's about 12 grand.
Okay.
The whole conversion.
Because that's roughly sort of what it is. Okay, this was club sport, so that's a bit more extreme in terms of stuff. But
yeah, it also depends where you source the interior from, because obviously you can, if you get second-hand rear interior, you can save a bit there.
Yeah.
New stuff.
And then I guess you've got to get it to fit your trim.
It's quite a lot of work to fit, yeah. But, it's a good 3 or 4 days work to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're doing seatbelt hire. And the other thing is, obviously, you've got to let your insurance company know, because technically it's a 2-seat car.
Yeah.
So you have to notify them that you've done this. And
do you know if that's been an issue, or it just wasn't so bad? You're like, no, it's TUV approved, and there we go.
Yeah, I think because it's TUV approved, it's, it's like when people convert camper vans and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Get a van and put rear seats in it and stuff, as long as it's done properly.
Yeah.
Insurance companies don't mind.
Okay. So, and the other big thing that's missing is the wing. That's been quite an extensive process, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. So we did the visual conversion much earlier on in the year, but it's got the aero kit, like the small ducktail on it.
Oh, right, yeah.
So instead of the touring has to come down, it has the small flap lip on it. What I wanted to do was be able to do this touring conversion, but make it fully reversible. So it's got a standalone control system for it, which it picks up from the speed sensor on the car, but it's a Y loom, so it's plug and play basically.
Okay.
I programmed it, so it raises at like 65 miles an hour and it drops down when you drop below 30 for 5 seconds. And so we pretty much, and then it's got the override switch, which we put in so you can still raise it to clean it and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works. That's the factory one works. But obviously only made, we were just talking about this, weren't they? 48 UK.
Something like that. It's somewhere around there, UK touring. So yeah, you can buy one of the however many other GT3s there are. There must be a couple of hundred or something like that.
They don't produce numbers.
They don't, no numbers. So and the ones that are for sale and do a conversion. What else? This car has had. This had tints.
Yeah.
Because do all GT3s have tints?
I've not seen one that doesn't. I think it's because of obviously the rear seats. They don't have rear seats. So yeah, one of the things we had to do was change the rear glass.
Yeah, I like that. Makes the side profile look much nicer, much cleaner. Brakes, were the brake calipers black when you got the car?
No, so we did the calipers black, and he changed the wheel colour as well to the satin. Yeah, but it's just quite under the radar. But
it really is.
if you want to open it up, it's.
And then suspension's different as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so this has got a Tractive kit on it. Yeah, it drives really nicely actually. I know the owner's really pleased with it.
Can you adjust that in the car, the Tractive system, or is it sort of set up? It's been dialed in once. I guess it works with the sport suspension button.
Yeah, because that's what you wanted to retain, that sort of factory control.
Yeah, cool. Well, it's quite an understated looking thing. I think as a sort of connoisseur, everyone will go, "Oh, that's quite an interesting." Some people might go, "Why have you not done a manual?" But as we said, lives in the city. Very cool.
It's right in the way, that rear spoiler, when you look out the rearview mirror.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because I know on like these, like the rear spoiler and on my 3.8, it's right in the way. And then some people do like a slightly raised, they lift it, if you lift it a little bit, like for example, this RS, is that stock, is that a bit higher?
That's the Manti.
Which is that a bit higher?
Yeah.
So actually rear visibility must be quite a bit better with that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see that much out the back of these things anyway. GT3 RS MR, very cool. Right, well let's, I'll take this outside. I'm gonna take it for a bit of a drive. Little walk around the car, time to get in and go for a bit of a drive. Oh, sounds very fruity versus my GTS, which I drove it in. And this seems very simple, it's very 911, but having back seats in a GT3 is very cool. I like this. Already, I like this a lot. And instantly, it feels more alive and extreme than my GTS. These bucket seats are super comfy. They are really comfy. Oh, I'm in a happy place, aren't I? Drove my GTS down today, which I've not driven in a while, and let's get in the car and go for a bit of a drive. I'm gonna have to go for a bit of a mooch because the engine is cold. It's nice having some manual gauges, which the other generations, as we get to newer cars, you don't have anymore. We've got an Alcantara steering wheel, this small Porsche steering wheel. It's just nice and thin. Let me just check 1 second what tyres it's on. Okay, Pilot Sport Cups. Not quite the road spec for winter wet conditions, but I am now a bit more aware of what I'm dealing with and need to be a little bit more careful. Someone is absolutely ragging along with the roof down. One of the things immediately I noticed, well actually, the first thing I'm gonna think of is road noise. There's more than in my GTS at this speed, sort of 50 miles an hour. The roads around here are there's just so many little holes and whatnot, and the setup on the car, it's wanting to go in these holes. But the ride quality actually on this Tractive setup, immediately I'm just sort of nibbling over a few little bumps and lumps. It's really good. It's like Okay, you can feel a bit, but it is nicely, yeah. The ride quality, I would say, is the same, or no, actually, it's the ride quality is better than my GTS. Definitely better than my GTS. Now the tyres are cold. Yeah. This is pretty chilled, actually. I know one of the things the owner wanted was he needs to be able to take phone calls in the car and stuff like that. And he said, as long as you're not going too fast, that's definitely doable. And then you're in a really sporty car. And at the moment I'm cruising along at 7th gear. I've not driven a 991.2 GT in a sort of while, and I sort of thought it was a bit more raw. And I think the suspension is a key part of that. These tyres they're pretty solid. So something like a 4S would make it more comfortable. Interior feels, it's 991. I really like the 991 interior. Just sort of having a look at various places I could stop and take a photo and whatnot. And the thing about this is you can PDK, mooch along, but I'm only going 30 miles an hour, and you know what? Immediately, the difference between a GT3 and a GTS, like right now, that's GT3. That is not GTS. And I'm going 30 miles an hour, granted, in 2nd gear. Things are warming up a little bit, temps are up more. Oh, it rides the bad stuff very well. Like, this is a pretty horrible road. Like, very horrible. Yeah, this is pretty fun. Why do I not have a 991 GT3? This is my daily vibes. Take the really comfy thing when you need to be really comfortable, and then take the fun sports car when you want to have a bit of fun. Oh, now my preference would probably be for a manual, but I could 100% see why you would do PDK. Just adds that, maybe that extra level of involvement. But this PDK system is so responsive, and it just makes it easy. You know, you put it in D and off you go. Or bye rears. It's pretty cold and horrible today. Oh damn. It's actually, this is so easy to go quickly. What a good bit of road. Right, I'm going to stop, pull over, turn around, take a few photos. I don't know why cars, okay, especially in the winter, they definitely don't need more than, what's this, 500-ish, a little bit less, 500 horsepower. You don't need more than that. You can't put this, I'm sort of half throttle and I'm traveling the traction. Oh, this is a good place for me to actually just stop and just do a little dinky dink. Wow, 991.2 GT3 with a bit of tweaking, some upgrades. It is a very cool thing. This is such an understated spec. Just looks like a 911. And then if you know your stuff, you're like, oh, it's a GT3. And then you're like, oh, it's a touring. That's kind of interesting. And then you have a look inside and you're like, wait a minute, it's got back seats. Can't even see. But yeah, back seats. Pretty fun. I'm liking it. It's a Porsche. Porsche. It's a GT3. It's got the engine. It's got so much more engine than my GTS. I'm gonna have a think about that on the way home. The GTS is actually really good. I've really enjoyed driving it on the way here. But this just has that GT engine is just a little step above. But I'm going to get back in the car, do a bit more driving. Rowdy. Yeah, I'm a fan. Porsche should make this from factory. 100%. You should be able to buy this car from factory. You should be able to spec a slightly more compliant ride. And some people in the comments let me know whether you think GT3 should come as an option with back seats, or maybe just the touring ones have the option of having back seats, and yeah, maybe a slightly more compliant ride, all of those sorts of things. Oh, let's do a quick, take a couple of photos and I'll be back in the car. Time to go. It's that there. And with something like a Sharkworks or something, this should be seriously rowdy. But it is the middle of the winter. Most supercars are wrapped up for the winter at this time of year, not going anywhere. This is just getting driven. And you can blip down a few. You forget what that 9,000 RPM part is like. I'm only cruising around at four to six. Yeah, these are good cars, and very different to my 997. My 997 is more, I'd say, more tactile in terms of mainly, I would say, the steering. The steering on the 997, you do feel more. Let's cruise down here. Is this the perfect 911? I don't know, let me know in the comments. It's pretty good. I love these seats. When I've got adjustable seats, I'm always adjusting them. I'm always playing with the seating position. But these Porsche buckets, these are the folding ones, and these have got different inserts, are very comfy. It's just given me a lot to think about. There we go. That wraps up my time with the GT3 touring conversion with a few other bits done by RPM Technic. Oh, that's given me a lot to think about. Oh, I love that car. I love the bucket seat. There's so many things I like about that car versus my GTS, which is over here. Which is really good. I really like the GTS, but it's just got that bit more specialness to it. And the idea of sort of customizing it to make it yours. Now, thank you very much to the owner. Thank you very much to the team at RPM. And I'll see you lot in the next video. And I've got to go away and think about some stuff now.